Although underground mining is really a lot safer than it was, let's say, 40 years ago, it's still a dangerous job, and particularly so because often if you have a catastrophic mining disaster, and boy, we've had a few of them in the last dozen years, half dozen years. If a catastrophic mining disaster does happen, people on top don't necessarily know where mine personnel were located at the time of the accident, which makes rescue a little bit more problematic than, say, other industrial accidents where you know where it's at. Right. So as Sudeep Pasricha points out in his article, Deep Underground, Smartphones Can Save Miners' Lives, most mine accidents occur in a structurally diverse underground mines with an extensive labyrinth of interconnected tunnels. And as mining progresses, workers move machinery around, which creates this continually changing environment. And this makes search and rescue efforts even more complicated than they might otherwise be. Now, yes, there is federal regulation which requires two-way communications between miners trapped underground and rescuers on the surface. There's regulations that require tracking individual miners so responders know where they need to dig. But so far, efforts to design systems that are both reliable and resilient, and let's also put in there cost-effective, when disaster strikes, have run into significant roadblocks. Let's say the most straightforward methods are wired systems. But the problem there is pretty obvious, right? In a mine collapse, what happens to any cabling?
It's going to be cut off.
It's going to be cut off, right? More than likely. Yeah. So this is where work by Pasricha and his partners bear fruit, using, of all things, smartphones. Now you're thinking, oh, sure, GPS or Wi-Fi or whatever. Well, no, GPS, Wi-Fi, none of that really works in a well. In a mine, it doesn't work very well or even at all, usually once you get down just not very far. In their system, a wireless network made up of many low-cost stationary Zigbee or Bluetooth sensors are deployed strategically around the mine to create a web or a mesh network that can connect with smartphones carried by the miners. This is kind of like a cellular network, but with a very carefully worked out topology. The exact placement of these fixed sensors is based on an analysis of how radio signals travel in a mine. There's changing, an electrically noisy environment. You can't just install these sensors anywhere, and that's where a lot of the technical things that they keep in mind in the distribution of these. So now then, taking this mesh, this Bluetooth Zigbee network, and using earlier research, Pasricha has algorithms that are possible to measure the strength of the signals the phone is receiving from the various sensors to approximate the distance the phone was from a known sensor, and then use measurements from the phone's inertial sensors. Your phone's all got sorts of little movement sensors in them, and they can determine the speed and direction of movement from those sensors. That helps them locate individuals to within really just a few meters. This isn't unlike how some non-GPS navigation systems work today. This is already being done. Some phones that don't have GPS systems, they still locate you because they triangulate off the various towers and the inertial systems in the phone, and they can locate fairly accurately. This is the same idea, but way, way down inside a mine. So this information would be constantly sent topside, so that in the event of an accident, an accurate location of personnel should be possible. And the nice thing about this system is that unlike bulky tracky systems used today and their shortcomings, this simply requires a smartphone. And what I'm thinking is finally an app on your smartphone that really does something useful.
Yeah, especially for these miners, that's great.
It's just interesting. I mean, these guys are just going to have their smartphones like they always do. They don't have to issue necessarily special equipment. It's all going to be located with, and I'm assuming you're going to pair your smartphone with the Zigbee or Bluetooth that's down there.
Sure. I mean, to me, this is perfect extension of what you were just talking about with Paul Zielinski about technology transfer. I mean, talk about kind of like an off-label use, right? I mean, this isn't what a cell phone was really designed to do, but it's an application that you can use to save people's lives. Great thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and nothing special. Zigbee is industry standard. Bluetooth is an industry standard. It's all in the placement and the algorithms in the software.
And you save lives through that. What a great thing.